Hi, I'm Dr. Arlen Myers. I'm President and CEO of the Society of Physician Entrepreneurs and active with Anthony in his various and sundry AI in medicine initiatives. And in this part, we have a conversation in office hours about pretty much digital health entrepreneurship, and more specifically, when relevant, its application to artificial intelligence. So I'm pleased to have as my guest today Dr. Ali Abayazid. And just as a disclaimer, I'm a consultant to his company, Advisor. And so I thought it would be interesting to invite him and talk about a bunch of stuff around the topic of AI in radiology, particularly, but more specifically in neuro-oncology. So Ali, welcome to you, your team, and your family.
Thank you.
All
Thank you,
right.
Arlen, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, we too. So let's start out with a little bit about, why don't you introduce yourself to the group and just sort of tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and sort of how you wound up doing what you're doing.
Yeah, so my name is Ali Abayazid. I'm an assistant professor of neuroradiology at the University of Massachusetts. I'm also the co-founder and the chief medical officer at Neosoma, which is an AI company focused on in the field of neuro-oncology, focused on solutions to help the treating physician make better decisions in management of those patients. I think it's a common thread for any entrepreneurship to find an issue and try to solve it, or a source of frustration where you think you can treat it differently. And for me, it was really just the right timing with the right people and the right idea. Our ideas are not new. These are concepts of machine learning that has been in the research world for over 10 years now, starting with our first product that we plan to bring to the market, which is the segmentation and volumetric measurement tool for high-grade gliomas. So there is a challenge called BRATS challenge that has been, it's an international challenge where groups from all over the world actually compete, where they produce softwares of different machine learning and artificial learning architecture and compete to prove which is the better algorithm in actually segmenting these tumors in comparison to a ground truth. So the idea is that first idea is not new. It has been out there in the research world for a long period of time. However, as a common source of frustration for many academics and clinicians is the fact that a lot of these amazing technologies in the research world actually do not get translated to clinical practice and to the bedside. And that's where Neosoma, the goal overall for Neosoma is to bring out these technologies out of the research shelf to actually bring it to clinical practice. And we are focused on neuro-oncology because this is where our strengths are. Our team, including our Switzerland team, who have more than 10 plus years in experience in neuro-oncology and developing machine learning and AI algorithms that deals with segmentation, radiomics, radiogenomics, classification, and so forth, which is going to be our portfolio going forward in neuro-oncology. As well as our clinical experiences here in the US as a practicing neuroradiologist, as well as the other team members who have experience in entrepreneurship and startup success and so forth. So really the first idea of the first product that we were working on, the segmentation and volumetric measurement tool for high-grade glioma, to better inform and objectify and standardize the response assessment in neuro-oncology, came from a personal frustration of mine that these patients, we are not getting the level of detailed analysis on MRI that is required to consistently and accurately inform the decision-making process on the side of the neuro-oncologist, the neurosurgeon, and the radiation oncologist. So on these MRIs, we have to do certain measurements, which are done manually at the moment, and only in 2D, to calculate the change over time of the size of the tumor on MRIs. And the percentage change over time is actually what decides the decision of the care, of the management, how we're going to treat this patient. The problem is, because it's time consuming and it's complicated, it's not done routinely. And even if it's done, there's a huge variability between the radiologists that are doing these measurements. So there is a huge inter-rater and intra-rater variability. So the way to go, and that's not just according to us, but according to the RANO group themselves, which is the international groups that releases the criteria of how to follow up those patients or those tumors. They acknowledge that the 3D volumetric measurement, fully automated way, is the way to go, and that's back in 2010. And it's 2021, and we still don't have it. So that's really what we are trying to achieve here. We are trying to achieve something that is going to improve workflow. It's going to improve care. It's going to standardize and objectify information with the ultimate goal of better patients' outcome.